bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations on Grand Bahama for a few days spending time with family and friends, Ricardo Lightbourne, spoke with this well-known Bahamian.
Elliot Harris, Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations. He's also the Director of the United Nations Environmental Program Office in New York, Director of the Secretariat of Environment Group, a Bahamian, and also son of legendary golfer Carlton Harris. Elliot and his son spent a few days with Carlton and spoke of the number of issues that the United Nations must now face and are looking at.
I think the biggest thing that is of interest to me right now is to see the change that's happening in the world all around. People are starting to realize how much damage has been done to the environment, but they also realize how much we can do to fix things. And they are understanding that they're not doing it because it sounds like the right thing to do. They're doing it because it makes sense, it's in their own interest, and because it requires a relatively small change in the way you behave, as long as you know what you're doing. And they realize that if all of us contribute, we can indeed make a difference, pull things back from the edge, and leave a world behind us that our children can live in.
Country circumstances and situations determine how they address issues affecting them. The Bahamas must also do the same.
For the Bahamas, we're a small nation of islands in the middle of the ocean. That means anything to do with the ocean is essential for our survival. We are what we call in the UN a small island developing state. And we are very vulnerable to changes in climate, changes in ocean patterns, hurricanes, storms. These are the key priority for us on the environmental front. Now, there's a lot that we can do that can reduce the impact of these storms, of the kinds of disasters that happen, unfortunately, are happening more frequently, and the storms that are coming are much more intense. But a degree of preparedness can reduce the impact. And we saw at the last hurricane there was tremendous damage, but nobody died, which was a massive blessing. A lot of that has to do with the way you prepare for these situations. And I think that is one of the priorities that we have to have in a country like ours here in the Bahamas. We have to be prepared for these things that we cannot control, but which we know will happen.
Given the impact of Hurricane Matthew and the environmental issues we now face as a country, awareness and preparation is essential, says Harris.
A lot of it could do with the way we set up our building codes, the way we put roofs on our buildings, the way we make our infrastructure to reduce the impact of the storm. But there's also a lot that we can do to enable ourselves to recover from a storm more rapidly. Insurance is a big case in point. So these are the kinds of things. Awareness is, in many respects, the first step. And if you know what you have to be preparing for, that can inform the policies and the kinds of regulations that you put in place to make sure that when these things do happen, their impact is manageable.
Ricardo Lightbourne, ZNS Network News.
Finally, in news this evening, Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Academy hosting the annual prefect installation ceremony to induct those who have been chosen as student leaders. The ceremony held much later than normal this year due to Hurricane Matthew. Vice Principal Paula Bevins had addressed the students. She told the 12th grade prefects that they must uphold a high standard.
Prefects are an integral part of any school community. A good prefect possesses sound morals, good interpersonal skills, and organizational skills. They are required to supervise students, promote healthy work ethics, and fulfill any other duty delegated by the school's principal.
The 6th grade prefect monitors were also pinned at the installation ceremony. And now it is time to ask the doctor.
Hi and welcome. Kanisha Bethel from Freeport asks, what is a good age to have your first mammogram? Thanks for your question, Kanisha. The American Cancer Society recommendations for early breast cancer detection support screening for women beginning at age 40, and they should have a mammogram every year and should continue to do so for as long as they are in good health. Also, starting at age 40, women should have a clinical breast exam by a doctor every year. For most women at high risk, for example, if you have a strong family history of breast cancer or the BRCA gene in a first-degree relative like a mother or sister, mammograms should begin earlier at around age 30 years and continue for as long as a woman is healthy. Women in their 20s and 30s should have a clinical breast exam by a doctor as part of a regular health checkup preferably every 3 years. So discuss mammograms with your doctor and your next visit. If you have questions, please drop them in my question box at the hospital or at the nearest Grand Bahama Community Clinic. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn has a check on sports when we return.